Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. Let rain fall, let rain fall.
And good afternoon. Welcome to Today at the Races here at Laurel Park. I'm Stan Salter. Pleased to be next to Vinny Perrone here for a Sunday afternoon. You were out yesterday. Glad to have you back here. Today you'll have some Pick 5 tickets for us. Nice carryover in the Rainbow Pick 6 starting in race 4. A little over $7,700 in today's Rainbow Pick 6. No carryover in that late Pick 5. They hit it yesterday for a little over $14,000. So congratulations if you had that. We're off the turf today, so we kind of had to go back and do a little handicapping pretty much for the whole card today, Vinny.
Well, you know, the beauty, Stan, of having a turf-rich card is there's the promise of full fields, great betting events. But when the deluge comes like it did last night on an already saturated course, it forces everybody to scramble. So we have a lot of defections. We're off the turf completely today. The horsemen are involved with drawing horses, and we're involved with trying to make sense of a race that we might not initially have handicapped surface-wise.
So, well, as far as the Pick 6, we'll have some smaller fields. Some of the races held together pretty well, so you have to wonder, will it be harder or easier maybe for the Rainbow Pick 6? I still say if you have 6 winners, you have a good shot of taking it all down. Nice carryover today, 7,700. They'll bet enough into it where the pool will get over 10,000 at least for sure. So if you can get all 6 winners, you'll have a good shot maybe of being the only ticket. Big Sunday of racing, of course. We have the Haskell up there at Monmouth Park. We'll be rooting on our Preakness champion Exaggerator. He'll be up there taking on the Derby champ Nyquist. So that's a big feature of the day to look forward to later on. Who you like, Nyquist, Exaggerator?
I have to go with the chalk there, Nyquist. I just don't think they're going to catch him.
All right, Nyquist, he'll be tough. It might be a little sloppy up there, so Exaggerator's game, as we know, seeing him win in the mud for the Preakness, he steps his game up for the mud. So the Haskell later on, we have some nice racing here at Laurel Park. Even though we're off the turf, nice carryover in that Pick 6, a little over 7,700. That starts in race 4. There's the lineup for today. The Rolling Super High 5 with that low 15% takeout. Rolling Super High 5 will start today in race 2. No carryover for that yet, but keep your eye on that. Sometimes we'll get a nice carryover throughout the day. Low 15% takeout on that Super High 5. The Rainbow Pick 6, that starts in race 4. $7,743 is the carryover today. Get some friends together, go in with a ticket. The late Pick 5, no carryover. It paid over $14,000 yesterday, but we always have that very popular industry low 12% takeout for the late Pick 5. That starts in race 5. We also, don't forget now, don't sleep on this, we have the early Pick 5, which starts in race 1. Same low 12% takeout, mandatory payout on that early Pick 5. Vinny was red hot last weekend with the Pick 5, so he'll have an early Pick 5 and a late Pick 5 ticket for you. Sunday Fun Day brunch up there in the Garden Terrace, and Tips and Tycoon. Chef Damon's up there whipping all the specials up there for Sunday Fun Day brunch. $22 for the adults, $11 for the kids. 6 and under eat free. They have the Bloody Marys, mimosas up there. The Kids Zone is will be going today. I'll bring the kids out here. We'll have the pony rides, petting zoo, all the crafts down there in the Kids Zone. That's the top of the stretch tent with the pony rides. So the whole family covered out here today for Sunday Fun Day. You a Bloody Mary or mimosa guy, Vinny?
You know, I try not to drink either just because I'll start to yodel uncontrollably and involuntarily.
All right, let's take a look here at our track conditions as we're off the turf. But I think we're listed as fast for the main track. I went out there and walked it this morning. They had it open this morning. Looks like they're still doing a bunch of work on it, but we're listed as fast, and it should be drying out throughout the day. So fast on the main track and off the turf for the day. Let's get right to it. Let's get right to it here in race 1. It's a nice 7,500 starter allowance race going 5.5 furlongs on the main track. Let's take a look here at Vinny Vinny's early pick 5 ticket that starts in race 1 with that low 12% takeout, mandatory payout on the early pick 5. Let's take a look here for the early pick 5 that starts right here in race 1.
Yeah, the temptation is great, Stan, to single Lady of Moray, and we're going to talk about the opener in a little more detail. But I'm going to, given that I have a single in the 5th, I thought that maybe we'd take a shot at a price horse. Actually, the second choice, Sweet Sway, the grayish-white horse on the outside in good form, and perhaps with a chance to close in here in race 2. This is a beaten nickel claimers beaten nickel claimer for fillies and mares. We're going 267. The 2 Dumpster Diva is a double-digit morning line price in there. In race 3, we go with a maiden claimer originally scheduled for the turf, now on the dirt. We're going to go 3, 4, 5. The 3 is a favorite, but the 4 and 5 also double-digit odds. In race 4, another spread. We have a 2-year-old maiden filly race. Sprint on the dirt, 5 furlongs. Got a spread in there, 2, 3, 4, 7. We have a few firsters in there. And then in race 5, my single, Daily News. This is a race that came off the turf. His dirt figures are good. His running style puts him right there. So I think we could single there for a $36 ticket.
We'll be putting all the pressure on the 4 Daily News there in race 5 as I key on them in my pick 6 as well for Katie Voss, Daily News there in race 5. Okay, race 1, 5.5 furlongs on the main track. This is for filly mares 3 and up, 7,500 starter allowance. Scratch the 1, the 5, the 6, and one more. Scratch the outside horse, the 9. The 4, Lady of Moray, Victor Carrasco aboard here for Holly Robinson. The dirt form very, very good here for this 4-year-old filly. She's very quick. The 2 has some early speed to the inside, but I think Carrasco can get the better of it with the speed on the outside here. This horse's last race on the dirt was at this level, 7,500 starter at Delaware. A good third that day, going 6 furlongs, but the last 5.5 furlong contest at this level right here at Laurel Park, she went right to the front that day and cruised home. Got a 75 buyer speed figure in there, so I'm using the 4 on top like Vinny is here in the opener.
Yeah, I think this was a really shrewd move by trainer Holly Robinson. Lady of Moray had been exclusively a dirt horse through her first 19 starts. She's in good form. Holly puts her on the turf last time sprinting. It was kind of a cushiony turf course. She had the lead till very, very late, just got run down by Hug a Tree in there. But what that race did was it substantiated Lady of Moray's turf running ability, and it gave Holly Robinson a great out if the race came off, because we know she can run on dirt. This filly is extremely fast. She is the speed. She will outrun, in my opinion, the 2 Ms. Martha, whom you referenced. You go back to her 2 off-track races, and they have the track listed as fast, Stan, right now, and it very well may be by post time. I mean, there's some moisture in it. They'll harrow it. We know Laurel will be a fast-drying track. We've got sun, and we've got a nice little breeze. But even if it's likely going to still be a little gluey, perhaps for the first race. Lady of Moray, you go back to her last dirt race, her last mud race, I should say, back in January, and she that was a triple key race. The horses that ran second and third to her, Secret Garden and Knack, both came out and won. The race before that in the mud, she got beat by a filly called Nay's Back, who was a close second in a West Virginia bred stake in May. So this filly is gonna set the pace in here, and at a distance where she really generally holds, and she comes in with 2 bullet works, and it's going to be tough to get by her.
All right, probably be a short price favorite there in the opener. We both like the 8, Sweet Sway, a good second last time against Allowance Company over there at Pimlico. The race was originally carded for the turf. They took it off. It was run on the main fast track, and this horse rallied, and a good second with Yomar Ortiz aboard, and Ortiz back aboard today for trainer Marco Salazar.
Yeah, bettors may look at her turf, at her off-track record and see, well, 4 starts, never in the money, and it's true. But all 4 of those were relatively early in her career when she was running in New York. All those races came in New York. And she was really more or less a front runner at that point. She's kind of changed her style. She's learned to relax. Her last race, that she said, came off the turf. She made a nice close against Class Edge. She's improved off the claim, had a breeze coming into this. So if Lady of Moray should falter, and that's a real big if, Sweet Sway has a chance to pick it up.
Yeah, and it could be a nice setup for the 8 as the 2 Ms. Martha we both like a little bit. That horse has some gas. Last race on the dirt was a win over there at Delaware last August. That was in the slop. So the 2 has some speed with the 4, so it could be a nice setup there for the 8 Sweet Sway. So 4-8-2, cold trifecta punch there in the opener, right?
I'm with you.
All right, I like it. I like it here. As I got a new mic here today, getting used to my new stick. All right, race 2 kicks off the early pick 4 here this afternoon. 7 furlongs on the main track. 3-year-old fillies or filly mares 4 and up, which have never won 3. And I'm going to go with the outside. Came Up Rosie, Horacio Caramanos aboard here for Franny Campitelli. Let's take a look here at my rolling super high 5 ticket as I use the 7 Came Up Rosie on top. No carryover here in the rolling super high 5 for race 2, but a low 15% takeout. I'm going to use the 7 on top over the 3-5, over the 1-3-5-6, and then I'll add the 4 in there for the bottom 2 spots. $36 play for the rolling super high 5. Gets underway here in the second race with that low 15% takeout. Race 2 also kicks off the early pick 4. Came Up Rosie on the outside. This is kind of a soft condition here, but this horse's last race here at Laurel Park. Last time we saw this 4-year-old filly here at Laurel Park was a winner at the 7,500, never won 2 lifetime level. So since then at Pimlico, a couple decent thirds. Didn't like the turf too much in her most recent try. She's 0 for 7 on the turf, so I think she gets back to a surface she likes the best today, and I think she'll have a nice, hopefully a nice outside trouble-free stalking trip with Horacio Caramanos. Had a big day yesterday. Caramanos with a 3-bagger here yesterday.
Boy, if ever there were a 7-horse race that was tough to distinguish, this is it. I found these horses extremely close in all aspects, and given that, you know, when I'm generally confused and befuddled and having difficulty seeing clearly, I go with the speed. So I've gone with the 6-horse in here, Convogliare, Stan, just because I think she'll have the lead. Her last race, she was steadied along in tight into the first turn, had a license to drop back after that, and did. Gets Gomez today. She won a couple races with him on the go back. She won a race with him 2 back, I should say, in the race that she beat Little Kitten, who came out and won. So, you know, I'm thinking she's going to be tough in here. The only caveat is that her dam, Emily D, was 0 for 5 on a wet track, to the extent the track stays wet, and that her foals are 0 for 5 on a wet track. So, you know, that does not breed a lot of confidence. But we're going to have drying conditions, and I think she'll do okay on the front end.
Yeah, wide open race. Look at our picks besides the 7. We both like the 7 a little bit. We're all over the place with the rest of our picks. I'll throw the 5, Stormy Mama, in there. Laurel Glazier aboard for Annette Eubanks here. The last dirt race here at Laurel Park back on July 4th. That was a tougher condition, I think. Starter allowance, optional claiming $16,000. A good third that day. The turf try last time didn't go too well, but she's getting a little bit of a class relief today here for Laurel Glazier and Annette Eubanks.
Well, you know, she looks okay. Her last race at this condition on the dirt, she was 4th, beaten 5 lengths. But the thing to me, Stan, is that she manages to lose to a number of the horses in this race. Becky Kecke, Came Up Rosing, who's your pick, Pony Romo. She has a little turn of foot if Laura Lee wants to use it, and from the 5-hole inside of Convogliare, she very well might. But, you know, I look at her race 2 back on a good track on July 4th, and it was against better company. She rolls, but she had a real ground-saving trip. I thought a clean trip through there, and really was never a factor. She's also back within 7 days, which is interesting. That might be a cause for optimism for some horse players, although trainer Annette Eubanks 0 for 5 in that quick turnaround.
All right, you have a nice price in your exacted. The 2, Dumpster Diva, Callie Francois aboard here for David Lozelle. Nice lightweight assignment at 109 here for this filly.
Yep, 11 pounds she sheds. That did catch my eye. And I go back to her race 4 back, the May 7th race, Stan, where she ran 2nd to Sliding Lady. And that was a mile race, and at the 8th pole, which is the distance today, 7A, she's up by a length. And then just got run down late, still had 4 lengths better than the 3rd place Solid Silver. She's a kind of a plotter, so she's going to have to make a deep run from the back. But if If Stormy Mama goes out and entertains Convoyari, we know Came Up Rosie is going to be close up. So she'll have a shot at 7/8 to make a late rally.
Oh, I'll throw the 3. Becky Kecky in there in the mix. Victor Carrasco aboard here for Greg Wilson. This filly ran a decent second at this level, 2 back at Pimlico. Didn't run too well. First off the claim, now dropping back down to the bottom level. So the 3 with a good rider, Victor Carrasco aboard, could get a piece of it there in the second race. Let's turn the page here. Race 3, a maiden 16,000, 5.5 furlongs on the dirt. There we go. Filly and mares 3 and up, maiden 16, 5.5 furlongs on the dirt. I'm going to go with a 10-1 shot on top here. The 4, Mexicali Sun for trainer Ferris Allen. Edgar Prado aboard. And this filly had 3 tries on the turf so far. Gets to the dirt today for the first time. She's a half-sister to Bebop Leon, who made over 100,000, had 11 wins going short on the dirt. Edgar Prado gets aboard, so I'll go with the 4 on top here. You like the 4 a little bit, but you have the 5 start winning on top, and I believe we have a video from this horse's race back on June 25th.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at Start Winning. She's had 4 starts. She's 20-1 in the book today. We're going to look at her 1 turf start, as this race was originally carded on the turf. She's in Blue Silks, number 4, toward the inside, and you're going to see her get checked as we go into the turn. She's making a move now, sort of in between horses. And Toledo's going to take her up. But this was what impressed me, Stan. She gets taken up. He swings her to the outside, and look at the move she makes. I mean, that showed some good agility, I thought, and she was absolutely resolute. And she moves into third, into the lane, and then she goes wide, lost a lot of ground, and had license to get tired from there, and did. But she showed me something with that move. So. That was her only turf race, as we said, of 4 starts. Her 3 dirt races have all been okay. She's had excuses in every one of them, lost a lot of ground in each. Gets Louis Garcia today, up from the Bug Boy Perez. And I just think that she's going to be able to sit a trip in here and maybe save a little ground and perhaps actually get a clean run.
Did look like she had some run there on the far turn in that video we just showed. I use her in my top 3, and then we both like the 3. Flame of My Heart has been very fast early on the grass, and the dirt races were okay last year, earlier this year when she started running here at Laurel Park. A good second for maiden 40 in the debut, and then she kind of fell apart in the 2 subsequent starts, but put it back together on the turf. Let's see if she can transfer that speed back to the main track here today.
Indeed, yeah, she showed good speed in her debut on dirt. Just got beat, and so it'd be interesting to see how she transitions today.
All right, let's get a commercial break. When we come back, nice carryover in today's Rainbow Pick 6, a little over 7,700. That starts in race 4. I'll have a ticket for that. The late pick 4 yesterday paid over 14,000. Vinny will have a ticket for that. That starts in race 5. We'll tackle those right when we come back.
Next January, 12 horses. $1 million buy-in for a $12 million purse.
And
it is the world's richest race. It is the Pegasus World Cup.
Welcome back today to races here at Laurel Park. I'm Stan Salter, Vinny Perone here. It's a nice afternoon here. It's not too hot. It's a little humid. I don't think there's any rain in the forecast for this afternoon. However, we are off the grass, but a pleasant afternoon out here. And what's very pleasant could be extremely pleasant if you take down this Rainbow Pick 6. Nice carryover today. $7,743 is the Rainbow Pick 6 carryover. Starts right here in race 4. I have a ticket made up. Let's take a look at my ticket here for today's Rainbow Pick 6. I'm going to hit the all button here in race 4, Vinny. Hitting the all button for these maiden 2-year-old fillies. Hopefully I can get a price. Then in race 5, I'm going to key on the 4, Daily News for trainer Katie Voss. Race 6, I'll use the 1A, the 8, and the 12. Then race 7, going 3 deep with the 3, 4, 5. Race 8, I'll use the 2 and the 4. Then race 9 using the 157, so a $64.80 ticket for my Rainbow Pick 6. Let's see if we can get a price here in the first leg. Race 4, we're on the main track, 5 furlongs. Maiden claiming $40,000 for 2-year-old fillies. Scratch the 1, Happy Mesa. I go with the 3, Haley's Flip on top here for trainer Gary Capuano, 2-year-old daughter of Arch. The dam made over $200,000, had 5 wins, 4 wins on the dirt, 1 win sprinting on the grass. This filly's a half to Riveter Gloria, who made almost $100,000. The debut effort at Laurel, it wasn't too great. She showed a little interest early on, and then just finished 6th, beating about 3.5 lengths. But what catches your eye here on this Gary Capuano trainee is his stat with maidens making their second start. 45% with a positive ROI. You're getting 7 pounds off with the apprentice Callie Francois. So Gary Cap with a nice win yesterday with noteworthy Peach. So I'll go with the Gary Cap barn here with the 3, Haley's Flip.
Yeah, and this filly has license to be good. I mean, her dam Tamburino was 5 for 19, made over $200,000, won a New York bred stake. I actually liked her debut a lot. I thought it was very useful. She broke sharp. There was a speed horse inside her and outside her. Francois took back a little bit, and she kind of got shuffled a little, but she held her ground. She leveled off nicely, and into the lane stand, she was actually making up ground and running along the rail, which a lot of first-timers don't want to do. I thought she showed some maturity. She's got a turn of foot. I think she can definitely move up off of that race.
Yeah, you see the comment line, willing inside. That is a tough ask for a first-time starter to get competitive down there on the inside. So we both like the 3 on top here. You have the 4 second, nothing, not that it matters. First-time starter by Algorithms, who's a first-year sire this year, stands down at Claiborne Farm. Had a nice debut winner at Pimlico, the Sagamore Farm horse, recruiting ready. So this is a nice young Bernardini sire. The dam made about $70,000. Wayne Potts gets the Hall of Famer Edgar Prado to take the call here.
Well, that gets one's attention for sure. We look and we see that Potts is 0 for 7 the last year and a half with first-time starters. He did have one on Friday that ran very, very gamely. First out, Dancing in the City, as you mentioned, made over $70,000 this filly's dam. She was 5 for 32 in dirt sprints. Not that it matters here. The 4 horse is her first foal. So I think she has, given the way the barn's going, given the breeding, and given that Prado's aboard, I think you got to give this filly some serious recognition.
Absolutely, that's a nice 6-to-1 price there on the 4. We both like the 7 a little bit here. Spicy Girl Red for the always spicy and salty Hamilton A. Smith. This is a 2-year-old daughter of Point Given. Jevion Toledo aboard. A good third at this level last time, and I think Toledo will be the benefactor of having a nice trip stalking from the outside today here.
Well, she beat the program favorite in here, the 2 Inspired Blue, by a head in her last race. Spicy Girl Red was 4 wide. Inspired Blue actually lost some ground in that race too. But given the 7 hole, I think that Toledo's going to have a shot to take the measure of the horses inside him and do whatever he wants with her.
All right, the 2 Inspired Blue, 3-to-1 morning line. This 2-year-old filly by Frost Giant might be your favorite. Fergal Lynch aboard here for trainer Phil Schoenthal. The dam was 0 for 7. However, this filly's a half-sister to Coal Town Legend, who was a runner, made a bunch of money, made over $300,000.
Yeah, rather eventful debut. She came in at the start. There was a lot of ping-ponging going on early. She then had to circle out and go 5 wide into the lane. Still finished with vigor. I mean, if she can duplicate that effort, she should be tough. But, the 2-hole on a closer makes you a little leery.
Exactly, yeah. Inside post with the scratch
inside
of the
post
1.
With
yeah,
the scratch,
yeah,
yes.
Good point there. So if you're playing this race in the multi-race wagers, I suggest going as deep as possible. I hit the all button here for the pick 6. The 5 Phantom Shot, just real quick, 8-to-1 morning line on this 2-year-old daughter of Kodiak Cowboy. The dam made almost $70,000. This filly's a half-sister to Will and Pat, who made over $100,000. Some decent works here at Laurel for Donnie Barr, who can get the job done with Angel Cruz up. So I think a wide open maiden 2-year-old race here to kick off the Rainbow Pick 6.
Yep.
All right, pick 5 time. That's Vinny's specialty.
Well, given the circumstances and a number of the late races coming off the turf stand, I have come up with a value ticket for the late pick 5.
All right,
it's a ticket for everybody. It's a $4 ticket, Stan. It's like a family meal at the racetrack. How about it?
Let's see this ticket. The late pick 5 starts right here in race 5 with that industry low 12% takeout. Paid over $14,000 yesterday. Take it down, man.
Well, I shudder at the notion that we each love Daily News as a single, but single her to close out the early pick 5, and single her to start the late. In race 6, comes off the turf, now a mile on the main track. Going with the 1 and 12. Actually, the 1A is the horse I prefer in there, but for number purposes, pure mutual tickets purposes, the 1 and the 12. Now, the 7th race, we really diverge here because you're using 3 horses, not one of them, the 7, who for me is a single in here, and we'll go over why. Destination Love, 12-1 in the book. Of course, again, that was meant. Oh no, that race stays on the dirt. Beg your pardon.
Well, there's a 6-5 favorite in there, the 3 quartet. So I like your strategy going against that one, singling on a 12-1.
Well,
That's the kind of horses that'll give you a nice signer at the end of the day.
And I'll relate my disinclination to go for quartet as we approach that race. In the 8th race, we're going with the 2 and 9. They actually ran against each other last time. Ergo, they come out of the same race. And in the 9th race, another race that comes off the turf, we're going with the 5 and 7. That cost should be $4. It's only a $4 ticket, right, Stan? 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8.
Well, that's if you're playing a 50-cent ticket, but a pick 4 ticket like that, yeah, you want to play a $10 late pick 5.
$10
right? Yeah, you want to play a 10.
$5.
If you got a $4 ticket, yeah, bump it up to a nice, respectable level.
That's for you guys who grow hair on the back of your hands when you go to the window. I just kind of go meekly,
All right, well, let's see here. I like your ticket there for the late pick 5. Starts right here in race 5. Starter allowance optional claiming $35,000 for 3-year-olds and upwards. 6 furlongs on the main track here. And let's see, scratch the 3 out of here and the 6. Scratch the 3-6 here from race 5. We both like the 4. Daily News a lot here. Victor Carrasco aboard for Katie Voss. This is a talented 4-year-old son of Jumpstart. Was a maiden special weight winner last summer here at Laurel Park, going 7 furlongs. Most recent race was at this level right here at Laurel Park, going 6 furlongs. A good second that day, was in front early, turning for home, but a good second, 67 Beyer speed figure. One of the top riders, Victor Carrasco, stays aboard here for Katie Voss, who's quietly having a very nice summer meet here at Laurel Park. 6 starts, a winner, 2 seconds, and a third. That's pretty respectable for 6 starts.
Yeah, he got beat at 6-5 that day. He opened up, looked like he was home, really got to drifting. I don't think he finished with a great deal of focus. That term tends to be overrated, that he waited on horses, but I just don't feel like he delivered his best, and maybe he had made the lead too early that day. I go back to his last race in the mud, Stan, the May 14th race at Pimlico, race won by a horse called Rollin' with Olin. Well, he won a 35,000 claimer at Delaware after that, and then a Pennsylvania bred stake. And the horse that finished 3rd in that race, Field Sense, whom Daily News defeated, beat a horse called Charles Breckenridge next out, whom we know has been a tough claimer here. So I like this horse. I think if Victor can keep him from making the lead too early, he'll be very, very tough in the lane.
All right, I like the horse you have in the exacta there. I used a 7 third. Data mining here. First time gelding. That's an important angle. First time gelding. First time in the barn here for trainer Calixto Juarez, who does a nice job. Angel Serpa aboard. Callie does a nice job getting these new horses in his barn.
He does, and if you go back to his second start, because he's been primarily a turf horse, but his second start, which came off the turf at Fairgrounds, a flat mile. This horse ran a 61 in just getting beat, and that was his first race with blinkers. So the horse, you throw out his initial race where he was beaten badly without blinkers. His races with blinkers have largely all been good, but for his race at Belmont 2 back, where he was in all likelihood overmatched and clearly lost some ground. Yeah, first time reported gelding. I think the horse is going to fit in well here. Comes in with a nice little maintenance work. Looks like he should be ready.
All right, we both like the 2 a little bit here. Zapata should have a lot of early speed on the inside. Make the rider Jevion Toledo here on the 2. Zapata, the corrected weight will be 120. And, this 4-year-old son of Ghost Hopper, very, very fast early. Just acquires the 6 furlong, so a little bit of a question mark.
Well, perhaps, but I think he can get the distance. His race 3 back at Parks in the mud, He's favored and gets beat with a tough start and actually lost some ground, which was not reflected in the footnote. But the horse that won that race that day, Far Out West, ran an 80 out of that race, which clearly would be good enough to win this, and then 276s. So that horse got good at the right time. Zapata ran into a buzzsaw that day. Looks like this field is a bit softer.
All right, race 5 kicks off. The late pick 5 with that industry low 12% takeout. Both Vinny and I like the 4 Daily News a lot. Let's turn the page here. Race 6 kicks off the late pick 4 here. For race 6, we're on the main track going a flat mile here. It was originally carded a mile and a 16th on the turf. We'll go to the main track going a flat 1 turn, 1 mile distance here for race 6 to kick off the late pick 4. Let's take a look here at my late pick 4 ticket starting in race 6. It's a wide open claiming 7,500. I'll use 3 horses in race 6. The 1A, 8, 12, going 3 deep in race 7, the 3, 4, 5, using the 2, 4 in race 8, then using the 157 there in the 9th race. $27 late pick 4 ticket. Let's take a look here. A lot of scratches in race 6, so make sure you're up to date on all the scratches. I'm going to go with a veteran here on the outside. This horse likes the turf, likes the dirt, likes an off track. We'll have a fast track today. And the 12 Out of the Depths has had a lot of success on the dirt as he has the turf. Need old 9-year-old from the Franny Campitelli barn. Taylor Hole aboard today, and Taylor Hole's had a couple nice wins on this 9-year-old. I like the horse on the turf today, dropping from the open 15 level where last couple races were just okay, but now getting back to the $7,500 level, turf or dirt. I was going to like the horse either way today, but with all the scratches and everything, he's one of the best dirt horses that are still in here. You look at the last dirt effort, that was for $7,500 Starter Allowance Company last May. That was in the slop, a good third that day. He runs well on a fast track. Nice old 9-year-old, likes this 1 turn, 1 mile distance as well.
Absolutely. Versatile gelding for sure. This gray, you go back to his last dirt race, May the 6th, right here at Laurel. Stevie's Wonder won that race. Well, Out of the Depths, who finished third in that race, beat a horse called Chaotic Bull, who came out and won an Open 11 claimer for Wayne Potts next out. I think he's going to be formidable in this race. He's got to turn a foot if Hole wants to use it. You know, we regard Taylor Hole as kind of a take-back rider, but we've seen him, like, especially with a couple of Tim Keefes, shot him right to the lead. I'm thinking of Connemara Coast, and there was another one. This horse has a turn of foot if Hole wants to use it. I just think I think he's as good on dirt as he is on turf, and he is clearly going to be tough.
And he's a neat horse. If he's in front early and then kind of retreats a little bit, don't give up on him. I've seen him do this a couple times. He'll re-rally. Neat horse. Good point about Taylor Hole. He can get it done on the front end. Go back to the Maryland Million Classic last fall with Admiral's War Chest, who went wire to wire that day. So we both like the 12. We both like the 1A here. Max Crown, who does run for trainer Claudio Gonzalez, make the rider Jevion Toledo on the 1A. Max Crown, the weight will be 116. And you look way back to January, this horse has some decent dirt numbers. A good win against Starter Allowance Company here at Laurel Park way back in January.
Yeah, the barn is 3 for its first 20 this meet. Certainly a lower effectiveness rate than we're used to. Claudio's been dropping his horses a lot. I have noted in the past when I thought they were suspicious. This horse, Max Crown, is dropping as well. This is less suspicious. This horse's form has really tailed off on the turf. At least this is a logical move back. His last mud race, he rallied. That was way back on January 10th. Rallied to win a beaten, never won 216 claimer. Claudio claimed him that day, had some initial success on the dirt. Then the horse tailed off on turf, so maybe the dirt will wake him up again.
All right, race 7 kicks off the late pick 3. We get back out to the main track here for race 7, going 7 furlongs, claiming 5,000 filly mares, 3 and up, never won 2. We're just going to talk about our top picks here in race 7, and we're going to move along to the late double starting in race 8. But the 3 quartet, your 6-5 morning line favorite, Fergal Lynch up here for trainer Cal Lynch. A good second last time for 7,500 to life, going 2 turns at Delaware. Now we're dropping down one more notch, cutting back from a mile and a piece to 7 furlongs. Will be your short price favored, but I have noticed that these kind of cheaper conditions, sometimes these races are wide open, especially if the favorite has a bad day. So the 3 quartet, I'll go with the favorite on top. You have a nice price on top here. Talk about the 7.
Yeah, I'm going with Destination Love here. We're going 7/8 of a mile. So you look at it. You look at her race 2 back, Stan, in the R. Rousey race and Just M. R. Rousey, that was a double key race. R. Rousey came out and ran a 60, winning in the better condition, and now winners of 3. 2 starts later, Just M came out and won a condition race after that. So I thought the race was legitimate. Last time the horse was kind of bogged inside, never really, I thought, got clear running room, and Time to Spare beat the horse easily that day. But I imagine, I just anticipate circumstances to change the outcome here.
That's a nice price on top. Real quick, your thoughts on the 3 Quartet, the short price favored, who you're going against here in the
Well,
7th?
you know, we've seen these power outfits really jamming horses in, and they have not been winning much. And this filly won a maiden 10 for 15 by 15 lengths in hand. 2 races later, she's in for 7,500, and now today for a nickel. Seems like he's looking to clear a stall in his barn.
Yeah, possibly. We'll see. So I have a 6-5 shot on top. Ben's got a nice 12-1 shot on top there in race 7. I have noticed the cheaper maiden races, these nickel 2 life companies, anything can happen sometimes. All right, race 8 kicks off the late daily double here for race 8. Get that race out of there. All right, we're going a flat mile on the main track here for race 8. Starter allowance company, optional claiming 25,000. And I have the 4 on top. Make the rider Victor Carrasco, as Fergal Lynch, who was originally named on him, decides to ride the 2 Super Fun, who was a main track only entry horse. So interesting tell there perhaps, but I'm going to stick with the 4, Not to Yield, on top. The Lacey Gaudette barn had a big day here yesterday with 2 wins. This is a closer here. I think there's a lot of speed here in this 1 mile contest, and I'll take a closer at this distance any day. So I'll go with the 4, Not to Yield, with Carrasco aboard.
Yeah, broke his maiden at Arlington Park on an off the turf race. Ran a 70, which could very well win this race. If he can run that back, it'll be tough.
All right, let's talk about the 9 here. Slick William. I throw the 9 here into the mix. Second race off the claim for trainer John Hartzell. A good 3rd last time at this level in the mud. This horse by Great Notion. Daniel Centeno gets aboard here today for trainer John J. Hartzell.
Boy, if he runs his last race back, Stan, he can really make some noise in here. I mean, he stumbled badly at the start. He was hung wide both turns. Still finished with interest. Running in the Vale, who aired that day, just went to the front right away and held it. And Slick William gave him 6 lengths right out of the gate and basically finished that length behind him. So I like him. Centino's on him. He's 1 for 2 when he hooks up with Hartzell. So yeah, I give him a shot, and he's a tractable horse. We'll be close up.
All right, one more race to go here. Race 9. Back on the main track, 5.5 furlongs here on the main track, claiming 16,000. Never won 2 a lifetime. We have a bunch of scratches in here. Let's show you a video we have here on the 5 Outfielder, 20-1 morning line. I like this horse originally on the turf today, but now we're on the dirt, and this is him winning his maiden race on July 2nd here at Laurel Park. It was his 11th start, but he finally put it all together for trainer Tim Keefe. The barn's been red hot, 36% winners. Fergal Lynch gets aboard today, so you have a live rider, and it's the old King Leatherberry angle, Vinny. When it takes a while for something to happen, when it finally does, you go right back with it. So Outfielder finally found the winner's circle last time, and I like him in my top 3 today. When the race came off the turf, I kind of adjusted around a little bit, and I have the 7 on top, Tricky Lion, but I absolutely have the 5 Outfielder on my pick 4, pick 6 ticket. You like him a little bit here as well.
Yeah, I do, because even though, as you mentioned, it took him 11 starts to break his maiden, he's very consistent, was 5th or better for almost every single one of those, and generally close. Does not have a great deal of speed, but in this race, given the possible pace scenario, he can make some late inroads for sure.
All right, we both like the 7 on top here. Tricky Lion, Alex Cintron aboard for trainer Dale Capuano. Look at the last effort on the main track. That was on the mud over there at Pimlico back in May. A decent 4th against better. Was a starter allowance condition that day. This horse does have some decent efforts here on the main track at Laurel Park last March. An okay 3rd against maiden, 16,000. I like the barn here. You get a good rider, Alex Cintron aboard. I think this horse can get a nice stalking trip off the early early pace setters today.
Yeah, and the race you referenced, that May 14th Pimlico Sprint, was the same race that Daily News had run in. Daily News only beat him by two lengths and change, so that should accord him well.
All right, the one Hertham's going to break from the inside today. Horacio Caramano's off that 3-win day yesterday, gets aboard here for trainer Robbie Bales. And last 3 races we saw off the layoff was on the turf. But you look back to the dirt form way back in 2013 at Colonial. But this horse has a nice resume. That was 3 years ago, but is in good form on the turf finally in that 3rd start off the long layoff. So hopefully he's back in good form and gets back to a surface that he's done well over before.
Absolutely. Compliments to Robbie Bales. He took this horse off almost a 3-year layoff, and it's like he hasn't missed a beat. He had 3 really, really good, solid turf sprints. Now returns to the dirt where he broke his maiden, as you said, a mere 3 years ago at Colonial, his last dirt start. So yeah, he could be really tough. I'll be interested because he showed more speed on dirt, Stan, than he has since his return on turf. But from the 1 hole, we'll see if Karamanos wants to get on the engine here.
All right, we're right on time, Ben, here. We're 30 minutes out for today's first race. We're off the turf, but don't let that ruin your Sunday fun day. Go in on the pick 6. That starts race 4 today. A little over $7,700 in today's Rainbow Pick 6. I'll have a ticket for that later on. Vinny will be with me all afternoon. Dave Rodman's coming up next with all of today's scratches and changes. Have a great Sunday.